I think just keep going.
Yep.
Just keep going. It's gonna be hard, but don't give up at all. It just keep going. If there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I know that there's still a light at the end of my tunnel, and I just got to get there.
Hello, I'm Tammy Hahnemann, a maker, digital content creator, someone who works in many different mediums with a true passion for helping others find their creative spark. I also really love to connect others who have something to share with those who want to learn. Welcome to Heart and Hands of a Maker, the creative journey. If you found us, chances are you're on a quest for creative inspiration. Maybe you're feeling stuck in an artistic rut, dreaming of turning your passion into a flourishing business, or maybe you're hoping to see your work in print or grow your online presence. Well, my friend, wherever you are on your creative journey, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking with Brandi Tracey, founder of Net Creative Designs, a bespoke jewelry business founded on the passion for creating designs with a personal connection and quality craftsmanship. Brandi is also a wife and devoted mom of two who she homeschools. We'll be discussing Brandi's creative journey, explore her business evolution, and hear what she has coming up next. It's time to grab your favorite beverage, settle into your creative space, and meet Brandi. Brandi, welcome to the show. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, truly. And I know it'll be the pleasure of everybody who listens in. It's been wonderful to get to know you. We were brought together through Chris, I believe, is who connected you with me, and
Yeah.
really glad to meet you. And I know everybody will be glad to meet you as well. So could you just give us some history?
Yeah. So I I got pregnant during COVID. And I was a paralegal before then. And I was doing like medical malpractice litigation, like really
Heavy,
interesting stuff.
heavy. That sounds heavy.
Yeah, it was a thing, but like I was pretty good at it for a while. But after I had the baby, I decided to stay home with her. And I kind of was like, obviously, I was busy being a mom, but like I was a little bit trying to find something to do. I
Hmm.
wanted to decorate our little condo that we had. We were living in a condo until we had enough money to buy our house.
Hmm.
So I started learning to craft and ended up getting a Cricut. And then I got a little jewelry making kit, like from Impress Art,
Oh, sure.
where you can use your Cricut and engrave on them. And I thought I wanted to do that for me and my daughters. And things kind of spiraled completely out of control from that. Like it came with a stamp, but I couldn't use the stamp without the hammer, and I had to buy the hammer. But then I found out that I needed to buy the steel block to stamp, and it kind of, anyway, I ended up learning to wire wrap because I thought it was absurd the amount they were charging for these little bitty gemstones that like they were little bitty chips that they had on a little loop. And it's like I can make that. And so I started doing that. I absolutely had to make a wire wrap tree and things like that.
Hmm.
And then my father passed away and I got more into it. So I was using it as like a coping mechanism. And then I started metalsmithing right before we bought our house, like as we were looking for our house. And I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. I loved wire wrapping. I was obsessed with it. But, like, even more so, I love metalsmithing. It's just something about it.
Is it the torch? Are you torching? Like what about the metal and that connection is?
I think it's kind of all of it. Like, I love like sawing, piercing.
Hmm.
I love piercing, like hammering anything, just forming it, and like the the way it makes me focus. Like
Mm.
I can get really focused, and I've never been able to do that.
Ah.
I'm pretty certain I have ADHD, but that's that's a whole thing. So, but yeah, it really helps, and it helped me stay sober too. So, you know, it's like really changed my life, kind of.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I do think that even, especially through COVID, I found that many people realize that doing things with our hands is so valuable. And exactly for reasons that you're talking about, it is a great tool to help us stay focused. It is a good tool to keep us on the path that we're supposed to be on. And
Yeah.
in your case, it sounds like sobriety is really important to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I know it's important to so many. And it helps your brain. There's a reaction in your brain, and the connection between that and your hands is really just so healing and comforting. And it sounds like you found it just at the right time.
Yeah. It was like the perfect time. And, like when my dad died, I called and, quit what I was doing and
Mm.
like started on the path of sobriety. And, um, like it was just, I didn't realize it at first, but that I was using that as a mechanism to stay away from everything. But yeah, it's kept me on the straight and narrow. And like business isn't going great, but like other parts of it is. Like I'm starting a YouTube channel. I sent an email to Chris. I just sent an email. He didn't know me at all. And I made a deal with him about a couple of videos on YouTube, and like we've become fast friends, and he's been helping me so much. But like, no, everybody, I have a friend, her name's Mel, and she is like, how do you get deals with the companies? And it's like, ask them.
Yeah.
Like, nobody ever asks. Like, just ask them. Sign up for an Amazon affiliate and just get started.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's great. And I think being brave and bold and stepping outside of your comfort zone, which I know for many is really difficult, and ask. The worst that can happen is they say no.
Exactly. And like my thoughts were like, I can't do it and like face to face, I would never be able to do it. But it's on a computer and I can write it exactly the way I want it to be said and get my point across correctly. And, either they say yes or no. It doesn't matter. I don't like it doesn't affect me any,
No, it's not a
except for it's
personal.
just a little bit rejection, but it's not as bad as it would be like on face to face. So
Well, and I think the more you do it, the more face to face that
would be
you can.
easier.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And even if they do say no in person, it's a little easier to handle the more practice you have.
Yes,
Yeah, no, that's
exactly.
great.
I
That's
think it's
great.
actually helped me with like my craft shows, to be
Oh,
honest. Now
ex-
now that I think about it, because like I I used to care a lot when people would like, oh, that's too much or whatever. But now it's not like whatever.
good. Well, so then you have more self-worth, more your time is something that you value more greatly
Yeah.
if you're able to be okay with somebody telling you that you're charging too much, because that
Yeah.
is very common. It is something
Yes.
I hear all the time.
Yeah. And I used to like tell people my prices were lower than they should be, and that's not helping anyone.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. And charging a fair price for your work is really important.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about that evolution, since that is something that you have gone through, and it is something I know so many people struggle with?
So, um, it's hard to really explain. Like at first, I kind of just guessed. Like when I was doing my wire wrapping, I kind of just guessed. I was like, well, this is what I spent on it. I think it should be worth whatever. And then I finally, through the Metalsmith Academy, Lucy Walker's Metalsmith Academy, in that forum, one of the group members shared a template, like an Excel sheet, where it calculates your prices. And I started using that. And sometimes it would calculate a little higher than I thought it should be, so it would bring it down a little bit because it does take me a long time
Mm-hmm.
to make pieces because I'm still learning. Um, but like as far as the craft fairs go, like I would sit there and underprice, but then people wouldn't buy my stuff. Like they still wouldn't buy it. Like, and they're like, I don't, I've recently discovered I think I'm going after the wrong group.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm at the wrong show. I need
Yeah.
to go to a different one. Um, but it's just building that confidence in yourself. And I think talking to all of those groups, like talking to Chris, talking to the Lucy Walker people, and like all of those people, it's the community that I have surrounding me now is absolutely amazing. Everybody's so helpful. Like, really, you just send them a message and ask them a question. Like, and they're so helpful.
That's wonderful. And I think that's important. And it's nice that you have found the right people. Another thing that I hear is that there's a lot of negativity, a lot of people who are very tight with sharing their
Gatekeeping.
information. Yeah, that's a perfect word for it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have found a path that has opened up doors for you and
Yeah.
relationships where you do have somebody who can help mentor you or lean into and answer questions. That's so important. And I think it's
Yeah.
important for our listeners to hear, because there are people out there who are
Oh, yes.
willing to be kind and giving and generous.
Yeah. They're all on Instagram. Every single one of them.
Yeah, well, I think both sides of the
Yes,
coin are on Instagram, so you
for
do have
sure.
to find the right people, and that's
Yeah.
wonderful for you that you have, especially given that you are newer to this field. But it sounds like you've really taken great leaps and bounds to get to where you are. If you're exhibiting and you already are identifying that you need to be at other shows, I think that was going to be my suggestion, is maybe it's time for new shows.
Yep. Yeah. I've only been to like 8 total.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
Okay.
so like I didn't know where it was going, and they're only like $40 each
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
So I just need to find some, maybe do some juried ones, or maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, just go and try them all out. I know there's a covered bridge festival around here in the fall, I think, and maybe next year we might look into that because
Great.
I bet it would be great.
Great. And what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Indiana.
Okay. Great. Great. I'm sure there's a lot out there, and there are groups that offer promotion of shows, like just so people like you and me can find shows that are in our area. So I would certainly encourage you to look through some of those and find your way. And I know people travel to shows.
Yeah.
It's not easy
Yeah,
when
I
you have
might
two
have
little
to
ones.
wait. Yeah, I'd have to wait a little bit for that. Like, poor dad.
Yeah. Well, and it
He,
does take a village, doesn't it? And I think it
it
takes a
really
very,
does.
yeah, it takes a
It really
supportive
does.
spouse or partner to really help you be able to balance being a mom and, educating your children, whether they're homeschooling or even if you change to traditional public school, like you still
It's
need a
still,
partner.
yep. My daughter was going to school before we moved into our new house. So like I was still super busy every single day because I had the baby,
Mhm.
and we still had all kinds of things to do. It's busy being a parent.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And I
Mhm.
can say, like, now that even my boys are grown, it's still busy. And
Yeah.
I don't even know that parent is really a part of my uh, job, but you're still busy. We're busy as people,
Hmm.
you just make time for the different things that are going on in your life. And right now that's raising your children, which is so important.
Yeah, it is.
It's
They're
so
going to
important.
be big people at one time.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you, they grow up really fast.
Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Well, but you're living in the moment, which is so important. And you're taking
I'm so
charge.
glad.
Yeah, yeah. You really have a wonderful opportunity. So I can also understand your passion for pursuing this at a level that will help sustain you and help support all of your aspirations. So what are your goals? And
Well, I definitely want to be able to sell my jewelry. But I actually, um, I really like talking to new metalsmiths or wire wrappers. Like, I like helping them and giving them tips on things that I found, like the torch that I found that wasn't like $1,000. Because I feel like a lot of people push those really expensive tools, and I I disagree. Like, I don't think that we all have to have like super expensive tools. They're really nice to have, but that's not all there is out there. And I think people need to know that they can go to Viver and get a ball vise and it'll be fine until you increase like your profits or whatever and get something nicer. So I want to actually start a Patreon. Hopefully by the time this airs, I'll have it live. We'll see.
Great.
But I'm just gonna make it super cheap and just share whatever I have, like whatever knowledge I have, not just about the tools, but things that I've found helpful.
Great. I think again, like it's not everybody who's willing to share that kind of information. So it's wonderful that you, even being newer to the field, that you are willing to already start giving back.
Yeah. I mean, I know but more than somebody that's just starting.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep. I've been in groups where they say if you know 10% more than the people that you want to help, you're an expert.
yep. Yep. And I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm gonna
No,
share.
I don't
I'm
think
gonna
you give
share
yourself enough credit.
Probably not. Definitely not. But I'm gonna give whatever I have. So
Well, and I think that you shared that you don't feel your business is going well. I think that it's a part of your journey is to be where you are right now and to figure out which way you really want to grow and pursue, which path you want to pursue. And I think the business side of it does come. So if you can keep doing what you're doing, I really feel that that'll change for you.
yep. One of those friends we were talking about, I was like, how do you get people to buy your jewelry? And she's like, well, it actually took me quite a long time. And I've heard that several times before she said it, but it was the way that she said it that like made me realize like it's okay.
It
It'll
is
come.
okay. It is
Yeah,
okay.
and I'm still learning. Like I just now bezel set an oval faceted stone, like that's yesterday for the very first time. So like I've got a lot to learn.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but you're also changing materials that you're working in. So you're evolving, you're growing, you're expanding your skills.
Mhm.
So you're newer to that, but you have experience in other things, which I think is also important for people to hear and know that it's actually okay.
Yeah,
And your time is still valuable, even though you're learning. So I think it's also important to factor that into your pricing
yeah,
structure if you are selling your work, and also how you see yourself in the field, and knowing that it is time for you to consider looking at other shows
yep,
if you're not finding the right people. Like that's the key to anything, is finding your people,
yeah,
because
exactly.
not everybody's going to be your people, and that's
No,
okay. And knowing
mhm,
that is half the battle,
yeah,
maybe more.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was really down about it a little, like
Hmm.
about 6 months ago, but
Hmm.
like I have come out of that, and I'm looking forward to the future. I think it's going to be great.
Good, good. No, it's really important. I think I even still struggle with it. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I still
Yeah,
struggle with thinking like, gosh, I don't think that person really cares for me. What did I do? What did I say? And it's like, oh my gosh, just move on.
nothing, nothing. You didn't do anything. They're just who they are. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's hard. I think as humans, we want everybody to like us. Well,
Hmm.
some of us want everybody to like us. Some people could care less. But
Right.
that is,
I
that is
wish I
my
could be
nature.
like that.
Me too. Me too. It's not my nature. I like everybody to have a good time. I like everybody to feel welcome in my home. And,
Mhm.
it's nice if you can come out of that with a few friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and knowing that in my listeners, we have a wide range of people, different mediums that I'm covering, um, where jewelry may not really be their focus. But I know, as somebody who's newer to the field and newer to selling your work, is there advice that you could offer to anybody that would be just starting out with something that you feel would be helpful?
I think just keep going.
Yep.
Just keep going. Like that's like it's gonna be hard, but don't give up at all. Like it just keep going. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I know that there's still a light at the end of my tunnel, and I just got to get there. You know. So I think if you just keep going, keep trying, and keep learning.
Keep learning.
Yeah, you gotta keep learning, and I love learning. Like that's my favorite thing.
Well, and it sounds like you also love sharing, which I think is also important.
Yeah,
It's a part of your
and
journey.
shopping.
We are good at that, aren't we?
I love shopping. So terrible.
Well,
It's
we have
so terrible.
a little peek in your studio behind you, which is really nice to see.
I love it. I love it. My bench was given to me by somebody here in Indiana, and he built it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just sits on an old desk I found on Facebook, and I don't think I actually would like to have one from like a manufacturer. I think I love this one.
It's
It
wonderful.
fits me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And it's nice how you came about it, how it came
Yeah.
into your life. That's wonderful.
Yeah. He upgraded to something and then he
Oh,
gave it to me. Like he just gave it to me. I tried to buy it and he wouldn't let me. So
wow.
it was really nice.
Well, good things come to good people.
Yeah. Thanks.
So, at what point did you feel was the right time for you to really think about selling your work? Like if you were just starting out and you knew you were new and you knew you were learning and you just bought a kit and you were making something and then all of a sudden now here you are selling your work and looking to expand and do more.
Um, well, I did. So when I first started, I was wire wrapping. So ever since I've been metalsmithing, I was selling right away.
Yeah.
But when I first started wire wrapping, I was doing it for several months before. And I was on my way home from a vacation with the family. And like, I set a labradorite and I wire wrapped it. And I was so proud. Like I was really super proud. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this. Like, and I shared it on the internet and everybody loved it. A friend of mine talked me into putting it on Etsy. Yeah, it started with Etsy, but I've moved on from that because yeah, Etsy's a thing. Yeah, but I started on Etsy, and really it wasn't even Etsy sales that I got. That's just where I put everything.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I was super proud. But I'd been doing it for so long, and it was really when I felt like I didn't have many mistakes
Mm.
on my pieces, and that somebody else would enjoy it. You know.
Well, and you mentioned Etsy. It comes up a lot in my work, in my travels. I think there's value in Etsy. I do think that they provide a service for people, especially somebody like yourself who doesn't really have a website yet, don't
Yeah,
really have people who don't really have a place to show their things except on a picture on
yeah,
Instagram or something. Like it gives people a place that is safe. It's something that you could sell it if somebody wanted to buy it. So there is a lot of value in leveraging the Etsy platform. They have gone through a lot of iterations over time, and some of them not
hmm
as favorable to people like you and me. Um, but I don't like to dismiss it as a place for people to consider. I do have friends who are
yeah.
very successful there,
I
but
feel like if I would have kept going with Etsy, I may have gotten a few more sales, but it just wasn't for me.
sure.
I tried to do some ads, and it ended up like they didn't help at all, and it just took more profit from my pocket. And I just thought, well, I'm just gonna go and get a website. That way I can put whatever I want on it and
Hmm.
bring whoever I want to it. But it does help other people. I have a friend who sells exclusively on Etsy and she does just fine.
Yep.
It's just not for me.
Yep. No, and I still have a shop there, but I've left it as well, and now I have a website. But
Yeah.
that takes time.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. I
Yeah.
didn't even get a website until my friend bought me a domain for Christmas.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, it was super nice. And like I didn't think to leave Etsy before then,
Hmm.
but then it just kind of pushed me to do it.
Good,
So,
good, good,
yeah.
good. Well, and your website, is it your business name, Net Creative?
netcreativedesigns.com.
Great, great. We'll have that in the show notes so everybody can find you. Um, do you mind sharing what platform you chose? Because that's another question that I get as people are deciding on their
Yeah.
website platform. Everybody, like people come to me all the time and ask, and I'm like, this is what I use. This is what I know other people use. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, so currently I use Shopify and I actually really love it.
Mm-hmm.
Before I started with GoDaddy and it it was easier to make the changes. Like you don't have to get an app or anything with that, but it like the loading time was really, really bad and it wasn't user friendly for the consumer.
Mm.
So I just switched to Shopify and it's the same price for me. I kept my domain with GoDaddy
Mm-hmm.
and just started using Shopify and I love it.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's using that who doesn't love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super like, and I like the platform where you can see all your reports and things like that. Like I have my customers on my computer over here. Like you can see exactly when they signed up and all of the things. It's super helpful.
That's great. Well, and I think it's also very savvy of you to identify the need for data and analytics and the fact that Shopify provides that. Is there
Yeah.
anything, any insight you can share there? Because that's something that's next level for some people.
Yeah, it's well, you really need to know where they're coming from so you can push that space.
Hmm.
There you also need to work on SEO, which I'm still learning about
Hmm.
that, but I think you have to put like alt text on everything that you find and try to provide options and make it easier for people to get to checkout.
Hmm. Yep.
So I'm still learning about the website stuff. I still gotta amp that up, but it's just like when you have a YouTube channel and it has analytics in there. It's just really helpful for when you're going to do something like new
Hmm.
or when you're going to do your next thing.
Just to kind of see what people are doing, how things are working, what's not working. Don't do that
Yeah,
again. And if you really
right.
feel you can't help yourself and you do it again, see if it is any better than the
Yeah,
first time.
yeah. And like, don't waste your time on things that are not working because it's not working.
It's just not working. Well,
Yeah,
and SEO, for those of you who don't know, search engine optimization, it really is so important. It is how people find you if they don't know you and they don't already know your URL. Um, that's how people like search engine. It's what
yeah,
Google uses to help direct people to where they want to go.
yep.
So it's
And
very important.
you have to just think about how would you search for it.
Yep.
If you were looking for whatever it is, how would you look for it?
Yep.
Put that in there. Make sure that's in there. Do a bunch of them so that there's very many, like, because there's two different spellings of jewelry.
Yes.
You got to put them both in there if you're wanting to sell to people in the UK. So,
Yep. Yep. No, that's great. That's great advice. Just that one little tidbit right there.
yeah,
Well, and
you
you're
got to
learning,
do
like
it
you
all.
said. And I think that's also important because some people, they start a business similar to what you're doing and they want to make the things.
Mm.
But in order to make the things and to sell the things, there's a whole nother layer and level of what you have to do to make that possible.
Yep. And I'm just now learning that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make the things before, but now I have to market myself. And
Mhm.
that's a whole beast. It's a whole
It
nother beast.
it is.
And I'm still learning a lot.
I don't know that you'll ever stop learning. I
Mm-mm.
don't think any of us could ever know all the things, especially given that things keep changing
Right.
and evolving. So then you've got to go
Yep.
back to maybe not the beginning, but you have to go backward and then catch up.
Yep. Like when the algorithm changes on Instagram or whatever. Yep. That's exactly that. Like that's what it is. Well, this isn't going to work anymore. We got to figure out the next one.
Yeah. Well, and I'll ask you this, and not to put you on the spot, but are you using Pinterest?
I'm not, but I need to.
Yeah,
I know I need to. That's like one of the things that I want to add to my list. And I know that there's a few apps that you can use
mhm,
to post on there, like and post on all of the platforms.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I've got one, I just haven't done it yet.
Okay,
Busy,
yeah.
busy.
I know. I just think as a business and somebody who has a website now, Pinterest is so valuable because it's either the second or third largest search engine next to Google, and
Yeah.
YouTube being the other. So you're starting to use YouTube. You're already aware of all the things you need to do on your own personal website for Google's benefit, but Pinterest is really, it's more
Yeah.
valuable than Instagram,
And you can link it. You can link everywhere
and link
on Pinterest.
everything to your website,
Yep.
which you can't do on most of the other platforms.
Nope.
Nope.
Well, I can do it on my stories now because I'm verified on Instagram, but that's it.
And some of that is under somebody else's control, whether or not people see your story. Where
Exactly.
Pinterest, it's a search engine and they're happy to
Yep.
have you come up in their search.
Yep.
So,
Just come to our platform and look at stuff and then go.
yep.
They don't care.
No, they love that. So
Yeah.
I highly encourage anybody listening and you, Brandi,
Yes.
to embrace Pinterest. It's really important. And I'm saying it for myself because I know this and I say this and I share this, but
Yeah. It's just another thing that you have to add. But once you get used to it, I
yep.
think it won't be as hard.
No.
So I'm going to add it. There's all kinds of things that I have planned. Um, and I just have to pace myself and like time block, like how Chris says, but
Yeah.
it's hard.
Oh, it is hard. And again, you're learning all the things. I don't think it's the phrase drinking water from a fire hose. Like I don't feel like you're there, but you're still
No,
learning and you're balancing and you're a mom with two
yeah,
young children.
that's drinking from a fire hose. I love
So
it.
yeah, but it's the most important time and most important job you may ever have. So you're where you
Yeah,
need to be. But it's
exactly.
wonderful. I remember when I had my son, I remember saying to my husband, like, I want to start something and make something so that when he's done with me and doesn't need me anymore, I have an identity. And it took on a whole life of its own. But it's so important, and I'm saying this for everybody else's benefit, and I know you agree. It's so important for you to have something that's yours.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't have it before.
No.
I was a paralegal, but I didn't have anything that I really
Mhm.
loved to do.
Mhm.
And now I'm so glad I found myself. Like I found me
Yep.
finally
Yep.
after 35 years.
That's okay. That's okay. And
Yeah.
I think like, nobody can take that from you. And you have complete control over how you use it, what you do with it, the time you have to put into it. And if it, and every season brings you something a little different. And, being a mom, it's nice to have that flexibility.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's wonderful that you acknowledge that and also that you're willing to share and pay it forward to other people so they too can find the joy and the happiness that you have.
Exactly.
It's
Thanks.
wonderful. Oh, it's wonderful. So, Brandi, you have your website, you have this amazing jewelry business, you have your beautiful daughters, a new home, a fabulous studio. You mentioned you are working on your YouTube channel and you want to, in the future, maybe near future, start a Patreon group so that you can help foster other people and help them on their journey. Um, I'd say you've got a full plate.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Well, and I do thank you so much for being here with us to share what you're doing and to offer insight for other people to learn from and be able to have some takeaways so that they can apply what you've learned and really just in the very current times. So it's very relevant what you've been able to share in your experience. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate
Of course.
everything you've offered us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us too. It is my pleasure to meet people like Brandi along my journey. I am so glad to know you, and I look forward to watching your creative journey continue to unfold. And I do hope you, as my listeners, I do hope that you have some takeaways from all that she shared today. It's my pleasure to bring people like Brandi to you so that you can have some knowledge and insight into, what she's experienced and hopefully apply that to what you're going through. So that's a wrap on another episode of Heart and Hands of a Maker. It's been so wonderful sharing this time with you. Thank you for tuning in. And if you want more, be sure to head over to tamarahanneman.com/podcast for today's show notes and links to make sure it's easy for you to find Brandi and all of the things she has coming up. And to be sure you never miss an episode, please follow Heart and Hands of a Maker on your favorite podcast platform.